Hey everybody, I'm going to share a stamping video because I did one and now cannot find it. I think it's because I did it on Facebook Live and it just kind of disappeared after 30 days. So this one's going to go on YouTube on my little channel. So real quick, I wanted to just share my little box of stamps. So this here is a box I got from Michael's. And I have in here literally hundreds of stamps, just bags and bags full of stamps, stamps that are mounted on blocks. Plus I have a special box over here. It was for cream puffs, but they're great storage boxes because they're really nice size and stackable. And I have a bunch of my other stamps here. Anyway, yeah, I have a lot of stamps. So I love to stamp fabric. And what I have here on the table at the moment is a piece of homespun. I did not make it. I bought it from a friend on Etsy. It's not cheap. It's like $5 for a slice like this, which is like, this is about 2 yards. Yeah, 2 yards long. But I thought I'd show that homespun works well for this. 100% cotton. That's the kind of fabrics I recommend. I also use a fabric by a company named Yuwa. And they are out of Japan. And if you look at this, you could see a very faded rose. These fabrics by Yuwa are cotton fabrics, and they are reproductions of fabrics from the 1800s. So this is why I love their fabrics. Now this one, it's kind of hard to see, but there is a, I gotta find my camera, there it is, kind of a design in there. It's kind of hard to see it, you know, along with really pretty flowers. It's a very nice feeling, this fabric. And then this one that I'm going to do is from a bed sheet, Shabby Chic, Rachel Ashwell, to be exact. So, and that's about 3 yards long, I think. It's a very long one, but my favorite inks are Memento. So you can use, I'm trying to find my camera here. Let's see if I get, there we go. This is, of course, black. And this is a fade resistant dye. That doesn't mean it won't fade if you wash it. You can iron your fabric after you stamp it to help set the ink. But you can also get fabric inks that you can stamp with as well. But I usually only use black because that gets me the best result. Some people use other colors. It's entirely up to you. During Halloween, I use orange and black, or maybe orange and purple. And so those are pretty good colors to use, depending on the fabric. If you're stamping on orange fabric, of course, you're going to want to use black ink. So I have a stamp here, a French stamp. It's a carte postale. So this is a very common and popular design to stamp on. And what I like to do is lay it down gradually, and then just sort of roll it back and forth to allow it to actually kind of absorb into the material so it's not too pale. And I get my stamps everywhere, but I'll share a couple Etsy shops that I use, some of my my best kept secrets. One is Oxford Stamps. Oxford Impressions on Etsy. Oxford sells stamps by the sheet, $25. And they average like 12 to 20 stamps per sheet. So you get a nice collection of stamps from them for a real bargain, in my opinion. You may not like all the design on the sheet or whatever. You can always de-stash those to someone. But they have nice theme sets like Alice in Wonderland, Paris, steampunk. They got 2 steampunk sets. I do know right now they're on vacation. The last time I checked was just a couple days ago, but they'll be back. And I have literally bought at least 10 sheets from them because it's such a good deal. You have to mount them yourself, but even so, it's still such a good deal. And then there's Sublime Stamps, and their stamps are more expensive. These are the Sublime stamps, and they run about $9 each, but they're gorgeous and they print nice. I do have trouble with my sheep on this because there's a little kind of indentation here, so I don't get that whole little sheep in there. But the other ones are great. And so you'll see me stamp with those. What I'm doing here right now is a carte postale. Get over there. And then the bee. And then repeat the carte postale. And then I'll put another bee, and about 3 inches apart. You could certainly do these as wide or as, simple or as complicated as you want to make them. I like to do 2 designs. Sometimes I'll do 3 different stamps, depending on what I'm doing. And of course, you have different size stamps, big stamps, little stamps. So I have, like, this shabby chic fabric is probably about 3 inches wide. So it's pretty thick. And so I could put bigger designs on that. But I like to keep it simple. I like to go with French, although I do have some steampunk. And I have some like zodiac stamps. And I've got numbers. I love my numbers. I have Halloween stamps, Marie Antoinette stamps. I have got stamps out the wazoo. So here you could see when I was stamping, I have a little bit of this corner of the block, which happens sometimes. For me, I leave it, but I suppose you could remove it if you don't like it. But yeah, so I'm gonna do this homespun, and then I'll pick another fabric. It's very relaxing stamping. I recommend it because just to sit and stamp and focus on what you're doing and kind of relax, have a cup of tea with you, and all is good. Or a bottle of water. And the sky is the limit. Like, you could do anything with these. You can use them in junk journals, on tags, on any kind of embellishment. I've had people make buntings with my trim for their wedding. I have a wedding designer who buys my trim, and she ties the trim around antique books. So I've already finished this one. So, and it's a nice repeating design, but it's not overbearing. So that's what I do. I stamp fabric. Now, I can't recommend silks or anything like that because unless you have a special ink, they get all blurry, or they soak in, they bleed, they have all kinds of problems. So you want to shoot for cotton if you can. Muslin is perfect. You could stamp it. It's also cheap fabric. But I do get bed sheets from time to time, and so long as they are washed and clean, I think that everything's hunky-dory to stamp it. I got this particular shabby chic bed sheet at a yard sale. There were two of them, two different styles together. They were both flat sheets, two for $9. And you get a lot of fabric when you're tearing the fabric. And I quite literally just cut and rip. So I get these nice frayed edges, if you can see. You know, and you like the frayed edges too, because that's very shabby. So I did the carte postale, and I am going to grab this one. This one I have to put on a block. So these go well on an acrylic block. And you want to get them good and wet. I think, okay, it's okay. I thought I cracked it or something. I like to get them really, really wet because, you know, even when you look at it, it doesn't look so wet. You know, it doesn't. So, and then apply and rock your stamp. Rock it. You don't want to smudge it, so, you know, you don't want to like slide it across the fabric, but just rock it and apply pressure. And, you know, you'll have your design will come out. Now, this particular stamp is designed to look very antique, so there are spaces where you can see on the stamp they've left spaces, so it looks old. You know, like a broken design like you'd see on an old flour sack or something. So that's what I like about this stamp. This is my favorite from Sublime Stamps. And everything I've gotten from Oxford Impressions is my favorite. So these trims will be on sale in my shop. I have a few sets listed. I have a couple sets of 3 trims on sale for $13 and change with free shipping, so that's a bargain. And I also have a set with 2 trims for the same price, but one of the trims is almost 6 feet. It's 5.5 feet long, and the other one is a yard. And this particular piece of fabric that I'm working on, I think, is 9 feet. I know it's really long. Maybe it's 7 feet. It's just way down there. So I will stamp it across boulangerie. I saw somewhere a little French bread rubber stamp, and I have to find out who makes that so I can stamp French bread on my fabric. And also you can take these, you can use just the design on fabric as an embellishment on a tag. Just cut that little piece and you'll have a little flower, and it's just really nice. I've used them on my books. I've used them as spines on books that I've refurbished, because I have a lot of antique books. You know, I'll give you a little quick look at my mess over here. There it is. Ah, look at all that. Yeah, a lot of those are for sale in my Etsy shop as well. And everything is on sale right now, 30% off. And I believe everything has free shipping. It should. I have some very rare books over there. And I've got some books I haven't listed yet because I haven't figured out what I'm going to do with those. It's a set of books, but I do not have a complete set, so I was thinking of selling them as singles and doing it that way, because I have like 10 of the 20 books that it should be 20 in a set. So I'll probably sell them pretty cheaply as singles for people to use. You could use the pages, or you actually turn the book into a junk journal. So, but here we are coming along. This is a very long piece of fabric. I think I said that probably 4 times. I'm pressing down real good. Apply pressure. And then I'll pick my secondary stamp. Maybe a fleur-de-lis. But I'm very hooked on everything French. Even my husband is French, but Canadian, but that counts. So, but I love just, the French writing, the fonts from France, the old books. I've been selling antique French books for 15 years and antiques in general for 25. So, but 2 years ago, I had opened a small antique shop here, and then after about 3 months, the virus hit. So I decided that I was just going to close it down. But and now the place I was at is so packed with antiques, I think I'd have way too much competition there. But here we are at the end of this one. It's a very long piece of fabric. And for my second design, I think I'm going to do this fleur-de-lis. This one is a big one. Let me take a look. Oh, well, it's not too bad. So, again, you want to really soak your stamp. Rock it. Yeah, that one came out better. It's a little bit bleeding, a little blurry, because the fabric is absorbing if I take too much ink. So, but that's okay. Over the course of time, it kind of fades out. But there's so many things I've seen people do with this. I've even used this kind of trim on my Christmas tree. And I bought antique Mercury Christmas decorations one year. They were kind of like a hot pink color. And then I had the French trim hanging on it, and the tree's white. It looked really, really good. So this is about it. I mean, this is not rocket science, that's for sure. Everybody has their own style. Everybody has their own thing they like the most. Oh, wouldn't you know it? I just remembered. Oh my goodness. I was at a school yesterday, and the teacher had a box full of old rubber stamps, and I was going to ask if they really needed those. Oh my goodness, I forgot. I should go back there. I'm working in schools for the next 2 weeks doing testing for kids, math and reading. And just for like 4th grade and 8th grade. And let me tell you how unexcited these kids are to take these tests. It's from the Department of Education, So it's the standardized kind of thing. And the kids are awesome, though. I mean, they're not too excited, but they muddle through. But I've certainly gotten plenty of little notes and pictures drawn for me, which is super cute, from the 4th graders. The 8th graders just kind of like are whatever, but the 4th graders are so adorable. something happens for sure when kids hit junior high school. Like, wow, something definitely changes there. So I am just looking through. Let's see, here's one of my purple inks. There we go. This is good stuff. This is like one of my favorite inks. I love this one. Susenko. I use a Sukaneko. Sorry. They make a walnut ink that I use, and that's what I dye my fabric with. I don't dye it in coffee or tea. I dye it in walnut ink. It's much faster. It dries better, and it has a nicer patina for me. So that's what I usually use. I bought a pound 12 years ago. I still have like 3/4 of a pound because you only need like a teaspoonful. That's it. I'm just looking for my inks. I have this ink too, Ranger. Oops. Ranger ink, and I just got myself all full of this one. This one is actually brown, and I really haven't used this very much at all, but it is a good ink. This, purpose ink. I don't even know who this is. I can't, something workshop. I can't even read it. They use their funky font. Not font. Font. Hero. So, I'll do one more trim because I don't want to bore you guys to death. So I take this one. This is also a UF fabric. Oh yeah, if you like these UF fabrics, they're available on eBay. They're not cheap. They run anywhere from $10 to $14 a yard, but they ship from the US, so you don't have to wait. They're not coming from Japan. But best quality fabric ever, and my favorite for stamping. So I'm going to take my other little stamp that I like a lot, my little papeterie. I'll tell you what, I'm going to have a little fun here, and I'm going to try purple and see if this works. Might even try the brown, because I have not used this pad in a very long time. It's still wet. Okay. So, let's see how this works. Oh, that's not bad. So, the color's nice. It might look black on the video. I don't know. In here, when I'm looking at it, it's definitely purple. Oh, I can't complain about that. Oh, very nice. I also put some kind of a piece of cardstock underneath when I'm stamping, just so it doesn't leak through to my tablecloth. That's antique. I try not to get any ink on it, but it's pretty to look at. Oh, this is coming along. I like the purple over the pink. It works. Kind of looks, yeah, purple or even maybe a bluish purple works for me. So this stamp says Library Papeterie Imprimerie, Paris. It has some kind of a French address on there. So I'll finish this up with one more stamp, and then after that, that'll be it. The thing is, I have so many stamps. Too many stamps. I love it. I love it. By the way, also, you could get iron orchid designs. Like this one is a small one for IOD. If you want to stamp bigger pieces of fabric for swatches, for quilts and things like that, you can do that too. And not only can you use fabric paint, you can use vintage paints. Like, that's a brand, Vintage Paints. and use a stamp for that. You can stamp walls, you can stamp chairs, you can stamp pillows, you can stamp anything you want with the right kind of stamp. Okay, I found a crown. I'm going to do this crown. This is cool. I'll show you. This crown has horses on the top of it, along with a castle. That's just, the detail is incredible. And I'm pretty sure this stamp came off of one of my sheets from Oxford Impressions. So I like to have a good variety of stamps because I stamp like a mad dog. I love to stamp. So there's that. Easy peasy. You can have, so much fun. This is a Quoth the Raven Nevermore rubber stamp that I got on Etsy with Oxford Impressions. They have a whole Edgar Allan Poe stamp sheet with like 20 stamps on it. The value for $25 is phenomenal. So here they are. Show you all what I've done. Did that, and did this. Those are the stamps. Stamped trims. Many uses. They're just cool. You can wrap them around presents too. So, which I did this year. Everybody's gifts were wrapped in brown paper and with my antique looking trims. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. And I hope that this was helpful. And if I don't forget, I'll put links to my resources for rubber stamps in the description. Take care. Thanks for watching.